Verse 10, continue. I explained the much grass. Now 5,000 people sat down. I mean, I don't think that much grass has to do with the fact that, okay, there's not grass for the people to sit on. It's not as if people really need to have grass to sit on. Yeah, it's a bit easier, but that's not the point. Okay, so the much grass doesn't point towards the amount of people there. It points to the time of the year. Now, 5,000 men, right? So 5,000 number, that would be men. We know lots of women follow Jesus. We know that for a fact. And very often you'll find in church, now I'm not saying, I don't want to extrapolate now from what we see today in churches to then. But these days often in church you find lots more women than men, which is very sad. Okay? Now I don't want to say it was the same then. Might not have been. But there were women as well. Okay, and there would have been lots of women, and when the woman goes as well, the kids would go, because they didn't have people to au pairs or whatever to keep the kids at home. The kids, the children, the smaller infants or children would be with them. Okay, so 5,000, that would be all male 13 and up. So yeah, clearly we know that there were more than 5,000, maybe 10,000 people, maybe more. We don't know exactly, right? So just to give you an idea of how many people Jesus ultimately did feed. Verse 11, Jesus then took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to those who were seated. So also the fish, as much as they wanted. Okay, so he took the loaves from the boy, the barley loaves, not the best that you get, more a poor boy's kind of, fisherman's kind of food. And he took it, he gave thanks. So in other words, that is why we normally give thanks before we eat as Christians. But I mean, I've seen even the Japanese would say kind of thanks, arigato gozaimasu or something like that before they eat. So maybe they got it from missionaries. I don't exactly know. One day maybe ask Japanese. I've never been in Japan. I don't really know Japanese. Although I know one good brother that studied in Japan and can speak Japanese there from South Africa. Maybe I can ask him. Now thinking of it. Anyhow, so we give thanks to Christians because, not because, like the Russians explained, there might be poison and you might get sick and die or something like that, but because of the example of Jesus ultimately. Now Jesus didn't give thanks because he's less than the Father. Okay, that's not what. He's giving us an example. Okay, lo and behold. So he broke it, he handed, and they handed it out, and everybody got as much as they wanted. Okay, so they ate their fill. Okay, they were not hungry after all of this. This clearly is a miracle. I mean, Jesus could not have, even if he, I mean, yeah, eaten the bread there or whatever. I mean, yeah, right. So they're saying that the people brought enough so that they, for themselves, they would be Jesus a while. They wouldn't have that much food anymore anyhow. And to now get the fill, from where? Right? It's impossible. If they had to share with others, they would not have gotten their fill at all. So that is impossible. And I already explained that hiding the food in caves would have been nonsense, as well nonsense. Right? People, even liberal theologians, would rather believe in nonsense theories than the fact that God actually, who made everything around them, can create something. Okay, so yeah, liberal scholars. You theologians, calling yourselves Christians. Stop calling yourselves Christians, you're not. You go to hell. And I say that because I love you. Right. So, verse 12. And when they had eaten their fill, he told his disciples, gather up the leftover fragments that nothing may be lost. Right, so they had to then, after they even had to pick up. So if all these people brought, I mean, just imagine all these people brought all this food and they had all this food with them. After sharing, I mean, they would have seen, the people would have seen, wow man, there's so much food here. He said, yeah, the stupidity of people, just because they don't want to believe in miracles. It's mind-blowing. Yeah, right, April Fool's Day, get for you liberal theologians and other atheists. Anyhow, it is hilarious to, anyhow, okay, so they gathered all this bread and they gathered this amount, 12 baskets full of it. It just again clearly showed that this was a miracle. This was no other way how this could have happened. Right, just no other way but a miracle. Verse 13, so they gathered them up and filled 12 baskets with fragments for the 5 barley loaves left by those who had eaten. Okay, so the people ate, there were 12 baskets left, right? So there was no way in hell that they could have eaten this bread and then brought it out, or the people suddenly shared, and that they couldn't see it. I mean, yeah, right. Anyhow, why 12 baskets? In the Gospel of Mark, we see 12 and then 7. Okay, we'll get to the Gospel of Mark, we see it's different kinds of baskets, okay? Anyhow, as well, different time. 12 baskets, 12 disciples. Maybe that is a point, but as well, 12 tribes, 12 of all of this. Perfect number. Were they really 12? Or just because 12 is this perfect number, tribes, apostles? No, it's because there were 12. But at the same time, this as well. It does not exclude the one and excludes the other. Okay, verse 14. When the people saw the sign they had done, they said, "This is indeed the prophet who is to come into the world." Okay, so they saw the sign, they followed Jesus because of the signs. Now they see the sign again, they say this is a prophet. Remember, Moses said the prophet like this will come. So they are thinking of that kind of, like this Moses prophecy of this prophet like Moses coming. Okay, and now he is clearly doing this. So Jesus is a prophet. So they were a rabbi or a prophet. Are they going to take the step further to Lord? Will they take that step? In this chapter, we're going to see that no, they're not going to take that step. They're going to leave. Even some of the disciples, not the 12, but other disciples, they're going to leave. Verse 15. Perceiving then that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, Jesus withdrew again to the mountain by himself. Okay, so he saw, I mean he perceived, right? It's not a question here the Holy Spirit told him. This knowledge he could have just, by looking at him, like the kind of eyes, the kind of, oh, okay, yeah, we can come and make him our king or something like that. The prophet, the king that they were expecting, the king of Israel, right? The Netanyahu kind of idea, bombing Iran or something like that. Okay, the one they expect to come and set them free from all their problems. That kind of king. This is what they wanted from Jesus. One who will, this is a Messiah they wanted. The prophet they wanted. A king like David. And Jesus was not going to have any of that. Not at all. Because this is not why he came to this earth.